Hello, welcome to Volunteer State Community College Talk Show, and my special guest today is going to be Barry Inslee. He was the 2026 Chancellor's Challenge Coin for Outstanding Veteran Award winner. How are you doing today, Barry?
Doing fine, Annabelle. How about yourself?
Could you tell us about the award you won?
So it was the Tennessee Board of Regents Chancellor's Coin, Challenge Coin, for Outstanding Veteran here on the Vol State campus. I was one of, I think, 7 nominees between faculty, staff, and students.
What are the benefits from winning that award?
I get a challenge coin and a certificate.
So you get a little notoriety for advancing your future. You could put that on a resume.
Maybe? I don't know. I don't know that I would put it on my resume, but I guess I could if I needed to.
So you're a veteran?
Yes, ma'am.
And what branch of the service were you in?
I spent 20 years in the United States Coast Guard.
And why did you initially enlist in the Coast Guard?
Oh, wow. See, now we're talking ancient history in the 1990s. So I was unhappy with what I was doing, which you would have thought would have been extremely interesting. I was a firefighter on a fireboat on the Mississippi River, and I was bored out of my mind. And I wanted to go places and see things. And so I looked at some of the services and decided on the Coast Guard because they have a primary mission of saving lives. And it worked out. In the 20 years that I was in the Coast Guard, counting the United States and some of its territories, I managed to visit 31 different countries and territories on 5 different continents. So it was quite an adventure.
That's amazing. So you were a firefighter also in the Coast Guard?
So my specialty in the Coast Guard was damage controlman, and firefighting was one of the responsibilities of a damage controlman. But we also were tasked with maintaining all of the firefighting equipment, as well as doing all of the welding, carpentry, fabricating, plumbing. When I went to my technical school, they taught us how to roof and how to build a house and how to reglaze windows. Not that anybody does that anymore. So it was a very broad category. The Coast Guard damage controlman was a jack of a lot of trades.
That sounds like a wonderful job. So they sent you to the Coast Guard Academy?
No, the Coast Guard Academy is for officers. I was never an officer in the Coast Guard. I did work at the Coast Guard Academy for 3 years, but I went to boot camp in Cape May, New Jersey, and after that I went out into the field. I was on a Coast Guard cutter out of Sabine Pass, Texas, and my technical school was in Portsmouth, Virginia. So actually Yorktown, Virginia. So I was in Yorktown, Virginia for my specialty school, and then back out in the field to various units until I hit 20 years and retired.
So the Coast Guard has a technical school?
They have many technical schools. So each rating has its own technical school, and a rating is like a job specialty. The Army guys call them MOSs, but the Navy and the Coast Guard call them ratings. And so my technical specialty was taught in Yorktown, Virginia. We had the Coast Guard has schools in Yorktown and has schools in Petaluma, California, and they have the aviation schools in Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
That's very interesting. What are the hierarchies of the rank level in Coast Guard? Because they're kind of a little bit different from the other services.
So the pay grades, the ranks, if you will, in the Coast Guard follow the same model as the Navy. So the highest rank is admiral, and then we have captains and commanders, lieutenant commanders, lieutenants, junior grades, and ensign, and those are all officer ranks. And then the enlisted, we start at the highest is a master chief, petty officer, then we have senior chief, and then chief, and then first, second, third class, and then non-rates, who are seamen or firemen or airmen, who they're the E3 through E1.
So did you go to any other school, post-secondary education institution before joining the Coast Guard?
So when I got out of high school, I was to 5 kids. Apparently, it was expected I was going to go to college, and it was an interesting experience. I attended Loyola University of New Orleans. I was in the College of Music, and I majored in voice performance.
Wow, that's amazing. So, but you were also a fireman.
So I was a volunteer firefighter right after I got out of college, and then in 1988, I got a job working on the fireboat.
Did you go to a fire academy?
No, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to attend any of the fire academies. That would have been a lot of fun. I was in Louisiana. We weren't very far from Texas A&M, and my dad had been to Texas A&M, and I would have loved to go to Texas A&M Fire School.
So you just learned OJT, on-the-job training, learning to be a fire guide.
Yep.
Okay, that sounds really great. So why did you retire from the Coast Guard?
Well, there were a lot of kids joining the Coast Guard. So, and that's natural because, you can enlist at 18 or 17 with your parents' permission. But I had kids of my own, and it was just getting to the point where, it's like, if I'm going to raise kids, I'm going to raise my own at home. I don't want to have to deal with young kids anymore. And so here I am at a community college. So,
do you have career aspirations for after retirement?
That's an interesting question. A lot of people have asked me, am I going to do anything with the degree when I'm done? And so the goal is a good friend of mine and I are really working toward doing a whiskey tasting podcast. And, not sure whether that would be monetized or not, but for us it would be great just to get distilleries to send us their product to try.
Oh, that's really great. I think that's a good idea. I think you could monetize that also. And if not, you can stock up on some really great whiskey.
Yep.
What kind of training did the Coast Guard prepare you for higher education?
Oh, I don't know that any of the training in the Coast Guard prepared me for higher education. I could replace your toilet, though. I mean, they trained me to do that. But the experience in the Coast Guard, though, it gave me more discipline than I had when I was first in college. And understand, the first time I went to college, I was in New Orleans, and the drinking age was 18. And for 35 cents, you could ride the streetcar right outside that passed right in front of the college, from the college all the way down to the French Quarter. And so I had an interesting 2 years, but my grades didn't reflect that. So the Coast Guard helped me with the discipline to actually follow through on my assignments and complete my assignments, and to, only drink when I had the time.
Maybe teach you a little bit about time management and commitment to goals.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, that's really great to hear from you. Congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
And thank you for being a guest here on Volunteer State Community College Pioneer Talk.